What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to I Do It Myself. I am Wayno. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you like what it is that I do, make sure you hit that sub button and run them likes up. Today we talking about GloRilla. By now, y'all done seen the situation with GloRilla. They tried to home invade her crib, and she ends up getting locked up for it. But before I get into the situation at hand, I want to talk about Thieves. Thieves is the scum of the earth. A thief is just as same level as a rat. Same level as anything nasty that you could think about. That's a thief. Now, when I first moved to Georgia, I ain't gonna front, every week it seemed like somebody's house was getting broken into. Celebrities specifically. People target people, right? You might just be in the parking lot of a Publix or Kroger and they scoping out your cousin or your sister. Or they sitting in the cut waiting for somebody to watch. And this is not just specifically for celebrities, you know what I'm saying? Anybody could get it down here. Anybody could get it down here. So don't make it easy for them. That wasn't the case in GloRilla's situation because she wasn't even here at the time when it happened. But she ends up getting locked up. Now, reason why she gets locked up, let's go to the Breakfast Club for the report.
Charges and was booked Tuesday in Forsyth County, Georgia. I believe I'm saying that correct. The charges were possession of a scheduled controlled substance and possession of marijuana over 1 ounce. And under the Georgia law, these are felony charges. She posted a $22,000 bond, so she was released. And at the time when this story broke, the details of the arrest were not clear. So then GloRilla's attorney, Drew Finland, released a statement. So he sent the statement to us and he says, the arrest of Gloria Woods is a disturbing window into how warped law enforcement priorities have become. Ms. Woods was out of town when her residence became a target for a group of home invaders who most likely knew she wasn't there. What they didn't know was that she had family staying with her, and her family, they were traumatized by the violent interests of this group who grabbed high-value jewelry before taking off once they realized she wasn't home, or the home wasn't vacant. When her family members did the right thing, they called the law enforcement, called police. Instead of investigating a violent home invasion and theft of Ms. Woods, they instead sought a search warrant when they spotted what they believed was a small amount of marijuana. Law enforcement then sought an arrest warrant for her, even though she hadn't been home for some time. No arrest warrants have been issued for the violent home invaders. Mrs. Woods is a victim, not a suspect. This is our tax dollars at work. Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, this makes no sense to me because are you responsible for what's in your house? If you're not home, you had guests there, you had somebody break in. The people that broke in could have dropped that. I don't know. I'm just saying, are you just responsible because she's the homeowner? Like,
well, yeah, she is the homeowner, but the problem is this was a small amount of weed. This wasn't 10 pounds. This wasn't 20 pounds. It was an ounce, almost an ounce of weed, and she wasn't home. And let's get to the root of the thing. Somebody invaded her property, went in her crib, robbed her property, stole her jewelry, went there with, I'm sure, weapons. Her family was there, could have got killed, could have got hurt, and then you arrest the person that called the police?
Yeah, I don't understand the law. I guess I would like to know what legally makes her liable.
Well, I reached out to the PIO office down there for the county because I wanted to know the same thing, and they sent me a statement, and in the statement, they say that the reason why they were able to arrest her was because the weed that they found was in a closet in the master bedroom, and the master bedroom belongs to GloRilla. So that is why they went forward and issued the arrest warrant for her.
First and foremost, yeah, because none of her family members was taking that charge, and nor should they, right? Man, this is disappointing seeing situations like this because her family was in the house. Somebody could have lost their life. You know what I'm saying? Somebody could have lost their life. But the biggest problem is the lack of decriminalization of weed in 2025 being right now in the South, right? Now, it's a lot of states that them pass laws where weed is like, it's almost nothing. I know me growing up in New York, weed was like treated like crack when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm serious. Like, police used to treat you crazy if you had weed on you. I'm talking about a dime bag. I done literally seen people outside with pounds, you know what I'm saying, passing out bud in New York, and it's not a problem. People smoke in front of the police. I'm pretty sure the police smoking more often now too. But GloRilla's situation, right? It's crazy for the simple fact of, okay, y'all came there for one thing, and then y'all launched this other investigation into her. Now, she had a little bit over an ounce of weed, right? And I looked it up to see what an ounce of weed even gets you in Georgia. It says, under the Georgia state law, outside of Atlanta, or if city exception doesn't apply. right? It says possession of 1 ounce or less is a misdemeanor under Georgia law. Okay? Penalties include, though, up to 12 months in jail and or a fine of $1,000. Driver's license, your driver's license could be suspended or revoked. And it says potential probation or drug education programs. Now, let's keep it 100. All of these laws that was written was to protect old white men. These laws was written by old white men 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying? These laws target certain people from certain demographics, from certain places and certain neighborhoods. And they lump it all together because they got to get their numbers up. Keep in mind, I've never seen a Chinese restaurant close or a police precinct. Anywhere. Chinese restaurant from when I was a little kid still open. Everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Or police precinct. Them joints don't close. And policing is a business. You know what I'm saying? It's a business. Now, what does more than an ounce get you? So more than an ounce, that's a felony. If you possess more than 1 ounce, it's a felony under state law. Mandatory minimum of 1 year in prison. Up to a maximum of 10 years, right? Fines up to $5,000. Convictions also can, same things with your driver's license being revoked and all of that. Now, she had a little bit over an ounce. GloRilla got money. You know what I'm saying? GloRilla got money. She going to be able to fight this. I don't see her getting any jail time at all. She'll probably have to do a program, even if that. My problem is this. These laws, right? Think about the person in her situation that can't pay for legal. That they're smoking weed because they depressed. A lot of people dealing with mental issues, personal issues, financial issues, and weed is their escape. I personally don't smoke weed, you feel me? But that doesn't make me negate that people use that as a coping mechanism for how they deal with the world on a daily basis. Subjectively, some people say, oh man, so what? You shouldn't be smoking weed. Me, on the other hand, I've been around weed my entire life. Over an ounce is not hurting nobody. Only person you hurting with a little bit over an ounce is maybe your pockets, depending on who you got it from. But now back to the situation at hand, right? This is a very unfortunate situation, and let's start out by it being an unfortunate situation because her family was dead and could have got hurt. Rappers got to have 24-hour security. It's expensive. Yes, it's expensive, but a person of GloRilla stature needs to have a guard by her house. And I'm not saying that to condemn her or down her or say what she should have been doing, because a lot of times nothing happens. But we don't have insurance because things happen all the time. We have insurance in case some shit jump off. We have insurance in case something happens so we can protect ourselves. This is the in case. I'm saying this is the in case. One thing about Georgia is, and one thing is not even just a Georgia thing, but people who are robbers and thieves, you know what they do? While you out working really hard, you know what they doing all day? Watching. They watching, waiting for a moment. They watching you. They watching your moms. They watching everybody. That's why home invasions carry such a high charge. You know what I'm saying? Because getting into a position of somebody's home and cracking their comfort is nothing to play with. It's really nothing to play with. So I think it's a lot of lessons to be learned here. One, I can't fault nobody about the weed shit. Like, I wouldn't. I'm not going to say, oh, GloRilla, what are you doing having weed in your bedroom? Bro, people ain't supposed to be in her bedroom no way. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure there's some sort of loophole at Drew Finland because he's a hell of a lawyer. He get paid a lot of money to make things go away. But I'm pretty sure he's going to find a way there got to be some sort of bylaw where you can't just walk in there based on something else. Now, I get it, right? You walk into somebody's house on a domestic situation and a whole nother situation going on. I'm not talking about weed, but they cooking meth in there. That's a whole different story. But weed needs to be decriminalized. When I was a kid, man, they had the commercial with the kid throwing the baseball. If you're an 80s baby, even a 90s baby, you remember this. The kid throwing the baseball in his hand. He like, smoking weed ain't gonna mess up my coordination, right? And then he throws the ball and he drops the ball, and him and his friend look at each other and they like, and don't get me wrong, when I was a little kid, I didn't even know I knew what weed was, but I wasn't smoking weed as a little kid, right? Let's have a real ass conversation about weed. It does, don't get me wrong, it definitely does damage. You know what I'm saying? It definitely does damage. But to be in 2025 and they still criminalizing weed like it's cocaine or it's meth or it's fent or any other hard drugs is just insane. And for her to have to go through this, now listen, even though that she's going to probably spank this, she's going to have to pay some money. But GloRilla, she put out, I don't even say a statement, she put up a tweet, right? And this tweet read, it says, crazy, my house got home invaded Saturday while I was in Indianapolis performing for the WNBA All-Star Game. And instead of focusing on finding the suspects, they focused on some cannabis. So I wasn't busted. My house got robbed. I wasn't home. Long story short, my house gets home invaded and I'm the only one that gets arrested. So that's T. This is just the times that we living in, man. Don't nothing make sense. I keep telling y'all this shit is the movie Idiocracy. It's the movie Idiocracy. Let's keep it all the way 1,000. Listen, salute to the law enforcement that do their job. I'm talking about the ones that keep the people who home invade out of your neighborhoods, the ones that do protect and serve for the people who are paying taxes and all of that, right? But for her, and it ain't even about her millionaire status or her artist status or nothing like that. For her family to go through a traumatic situation where every thought is possibly what could have happened to them, and then they loved one that they staying with comes home, and she got to be the one to be taken away in cuffs. Man, Georgia, y'all got to start changing some shit. Fannie Willis, you sitting here going after all of these gang members, and you got silly, stupid ass laws that people can't smoke weed. People can't have an ounce or a little bit more of an ounce of weed. You could go to jail for having an ounce of weed. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to keep it 100. I love a safe environment. I don't live in poverty, right? So the things that I deal with, the things that I vote for is not the same as everybody else, but I come from the environment anywhere. No matter where you say, oh, I'm from here. You grew up in poverty? Oh, I did too. You grew up in poverty? So did I. You came from a single parent household? So did I. You came from a place where it was 4 people, 5 people in a house sharing one bathroom? So did I. You came from a place where you used to have to boil water in order to take a bath? So did I. Real shit, for real. And to see that people still got to deal with these types of problems in 2025 is insane, especially because of the fact that you know the person that can't fight the way she can is cooked. She's cooked. If GloRilla ain't who GloRilla is and she still manages to get an ounce and a half of weed, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever she had or whatever, that person without her financial status is cooked. And it's way more of them than it is a GloRilla. It's way more of them. You know what I'm saying? So Killer Mike, I know Killer Mike. I done did bipartisan work with Killer Mike in Georgia. I know he busts his behind. He works with the locals. He works with a lot of law enforcement, all of that to make Georgia a better and safer environment. My brother Stephen Dingle is running for councilman. Stephen, I would love to see you tackle this situation. I'm supporting my guy regardless, but I would love to see people tackle these situations because we know, bro. Like the way it is down here is like how New York was 20-something years ago, man. You get caught with an ounce, you could end up doing a month or some change for some bud. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many people that's behind bars right now for weed in states where it's legal, where you got dispensaries and all of that other stuff. And the thing about it is even if you get the grace to come out and you know the business, if you know the business of it, you can't partake in it because you have a felony. And they prohibit you from now working in the same space that got you locked up because you have a felony for something that's legal now. Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. Don't none of this shit be making sense to me. I really be trying to figure it out because there's definitely a war. And the war is economics. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Yes, it is. It's racial. Things are always going to be racial. Don't ever for one second think that because there was a black president or this person or that person in office that everything changes and switches over and everybody's good. The war is on economics. You know what I'm saying? When we was talking all about this equality, I want financial equality. That's what I want. I want economic equality. That's what I want. You know what I'm saying? I want economic equality. I want you to treat me the same way you treat everybody else who got the same amount of money as me. You feel me? Because that's the thing, right? And I'm talking about like when it comes to these petty crimes too. Because the person who don't got it, like, come on, that's what I can't imagine coming home. My family is in tears and shock because they feel like, you know, something could have happened to them, and now I got to be taken off in handcuffs because I had a couple bud, some bud. I had a couple ounces. Man, get it together. This is I do it myself. For the ones that rock with me, you know how we do, and for the ones that don't, eventually you will. Saturday drop. Maybe I get one on Sunday too. Catch you on the next one. Peace.